Do you know what I love? Beer. Do you know what I also love? Fan fiction. I believe that creating fan fiction is not only okay, it is in fact an amazing tool to practice creating your own stories using the convenient training wheels that is existing intellectual property. And to prove my point, I am going to create my own avatar fan fiction, create an OC that is going to be the avatar after Korra, and then create an entire story around her. Will I succeed in spinning a riveting yarn, or will I fail and burn in the fires of cringe? What's good, people? Agent Juice reporting for duty. As a proud advocate of the vehement and, shall we say, unashamed creation of fanfiction, I believe it pertinent that I test my own hypothesis that creating such fanfiction is in fact good for the creative process. First, I will need to build a compelling cast of clowns to throw into this circus, and then I shall throw them invariably into many wackadoodle hijinks that will befall their sorry asses. And the first clown on that list, of course, has to be our protagonist, who is the new earthbending avatar of the setting. And now you shall witness me creating this character using the power of my psychic might! Bing! Behold your newest avatar, Marie Bay Fong. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, my OC is a Bay Fong. After all, what is a fan fiction without a character who is at least tangentially blood-related to one of the existing favorited characters? Marie Bay Fong is an optimistic yet timid young hippie who grew up in the lap of luxury and looks forward to using her avatar powers to help the less fortunate, and hopefully leave the world a better place than how she found it. At least that's the plan. Now, what is an avatar without an avatar crew? Well, first off, let's shake things up a bit and give Marie the one thing that avatars have never had up to this point: siblings. First, how about an older sibling? A waterbender from another mother. Yeah, we'll go with that. I imagine a brash, take charge kind of individual. A girl who ain't afraid to tell it how it is and lead the others to their next escapade. Let's call her... oh, I don't know, Lee Bay Fong. That sounds about right for some reason. Next, how about a younger sister? A firebender from yet another mother. Someone more volatile, emotional, with a foreboding and quite literal fiery temperament. And I think it would be pertinent to maybe, I don't know, call her May Bay Fong. You know, for reasons. And now we have our band of core miscreants ready to be the solution to, or cause of, all of the world's problems. And with that, it is time to move into the plot. Book 1, Fire, aka #L'Existence. Our story begins about 16 years after Korra's death, putting us roughly in the modern, prosperous times. The Bay Fong sisters have lived cushy, affluent lives, but all that changes the day Marie is revealed to be the next avatar. Ever the people pleaser, Marie decides it best to abandon the luxurious lap of the rich girl life and attempts to be an activist, or something like that. Of course, she tries to drag her sisters into this mess, both very much not wanting to give up the good life they have, but eventually they begrudgingly agree, if only to get Marie to shut her yap about the whole damned thing. The activities start off low stakes, a sign here, a protest there. But as with many a movement, a gathering of loonies began to emerge, catching the eye of May in particular. Marie attempts to look over that little aspect of May, but Lee won't have it. She accuses May of using faux freedom fighting as a cover for hedonistic mayhem, and May accuses Lee of being a bigot or whatever. Lee, having enough of this hypocritical bullshit, does what we call in the biz, a gamer move, and pulls out while she still can. Marie tries to talk her back into it, but Lee brushes her off as nothing more than May's enabler and leaves them both, much to Marie's dismay. Meanwhile, at a particularly spicy protest, things get just a teensy bit out of hand, and May gets just a teensy bit carried away. After a few blasts of the old hand flamer in the midst of a bangin' riot, May discovers that she has taken to arson like a fish to fire. And with that, Marie makes the horrifying discovery that her dear, sweet baby sister is, as the Brits say, alright, Nata. But before Marie can do anything about that little problem, the White Lotus Illuminati out of nowhere comes to pluck Marie and shove her off into the sweaty taint of an active volcano or something like that to begin her avatar sabbatical. Time passes for Marie, and by the time she gets done with the little firebending vacay, she discovers that things have gotten, shall we say, muy caliente. Lee now leads a scrappy resistance against May, who herself now leads a fun little autonomous zone in the middle of the ruined city. Finding herself in unprecedented times, Marie decides to get in touch with her glowy side and confide with the only other avatar she has access to, Korra. In her usual Korra manner, she advises that sometimes you just gotta go in guns blazing. I mean, it worked for her more often than not after all. Against her more gentle gut instinct, Marie heeds Korra's advice and tepidly joins Lee in the autonomous zone assault, culminating in a final confrontation with her pyromaniacal sister. Marie attempts a last-ditch plea. Can't she see that her so-called message for inclusion rings rather hollow once she decides to burn down the homes and livelihoods of the people she claims to protect? Not wanting to be touted as the bad guy, May goes ballistic and assaults Marie. The sudden duress, however, triggers Marie's avatar state, and the ensuing beatdown is hilariously one-sided. Enough loonies on the other side get the message that their fun time is over, and they scatter, leaving poor May to rant and rave and stew in the horrors she hath wrought. Perhaps one day she'll get a chance to redeem herself, much like hashtag best character Prince Zuko. But until that day comes, she unfortunately pulls an Azula and is taken away to the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. And with that bittersweet note, we end the first book with Marie's first hollow victory. Damn, it's kind of a downer. Let's change that in book 2. Book 2, Air, aka Simpin' Ain't Easy. It is time for Marie to learn airbending, so off to the nearest air temple she goes. The temples these days are much more hashtag diverse, what with the great respawn from the previous century. Marie is fascinated by the cultural blend of the various airbenders, bringing their own flavors to the old traditions of the air nomads. And one individual catches her eye. And who exactly is this individual? Well, I imagine that he's an intelligent but shy fellow, an inventor, if you will. With a combination of his airbending, brilliant engineering, and propensity for tidiness and punctuality, he smites Marie with the fury of 1,000 romance mangas feverishly scribbled in the back of many a young woman's math notebook. Let's go ahead and call this fellow Fredward. You know, for reasons. Marie is so infatuated by this pencil neck Casanova that she wishes to slyly convince him to teach her airbending. Alas, our girl has no game. Nervous as how to talk to boys, Marie again confides in Korra for some damnable reason, who, in her usual Korra fashion, just tells her to grab that boy by the beanie and make him hers. Marie, again, has hesitations, but since she is a kissless virgin and Korra is both a rooster and taco-slaying Giga Chad in comparison, Marie again hesitantly follows her advice. And as per usual for those thinking with their burning loins, Marie ends up doing some wackadoodle nonsense so hilariously crazy to get Senpai's attention that it ruins one of Fredward's many volatile experiments and destroys the air temple in spectacular fashion. At a later tribunal, Marie of course bears the brunt of the blame, but poor Fredward is roped in thanks to his experiments being the culprit for the destruction. And worst of all for Marie, her stunt for Senpai's affection gloriously backfires, and now she must win back his trust before she can move on to the proverbial second base of winning back his heart. Fredward, who has never so much as gotten a slap on the wrist for tardiness, is so desperate for a way to pay back the damage, he decides, against his better judgment, to contact a couple of buddies of his who owe him a favor. And so we're introduced to Fredward's two closest chums, who happen to be, oh, I don't know, just spitballing here. How about a big level oaf and a short, smooth talking con man? And of course, we'll call these two doofuses Fred and Freddy, for reasons. And so the boys come to their buddy's aid. Freddy, in his infinite business savvy wisdom, concocts a brilliant plan. They will throw the mother of all car wash fundraisers, starring the hot piece of ass that is the Avatar herself. But to ensure maximum cash flow, they're gonna need more girls. Say, you wouldn't happen to have any friends, would you? Now, I know what you're thinking. Maria's a Bay Fong. Why doesn't she just use Daddy's money to pay off the damages? Well, you see, Daddy's money is being used for other reasons. Allow me to elucidate. Meanwhile, our dear May enjoys a bit of remedial family counseling thanks to a generous donation to the loony bin from the Bay Fong estate. While Marie has been enjoying her 500 days of airbending, May and her dear sister Lee have been having healthy discussions about their differences in the comfort of a far-off sealed bunker somewhere in the mountains or whatever. Until the day day they learn that Marie and Co. have returned to them, desperate for their help with a super special avatar project. At first, the reunion is rather salty. May is salty for obvious reasons. Lee is salty because, well, you know, Marie abandoned her to do cool avatar shit. But once the other Beifong sisters eye the Fred boys, they put aside their petty grievances and agree to help them on the condition that they get a helping of that sweet man meat. And of course, the Avatar car wash fundraiser is a smashing success. Sodomobiles line up for miles to get a glimmer of that hot Beifong action. The crew is making money hand over fist, but they are one handsome payday shy of their goal when along comes the luxurious stretch limo of the infamous Baroness von Varick, CEO of Varick Global Industries. Looking to get a new spit shine on her whip, she unfortunately has no interest in the dames. Something tells me you guys already know what comes next. It looks like the Fred boys need to pay their dues to save the day, so they gussy themselves up in their nicest duds and give that old lady the time of her life, thus hitting their money goal and saving the temple. And most important of all, Fredward finds it in his heart to finally forgive Marie for mucking this up in the first place. And then we all know what happens next. And with that, it is time to move on to the final chapter of this insanity. Book 3, Water, aka Marie's Family Reunion. We start in the frigid tits of some water tribe mountain range or whatever, where Marie is learning waterbending. During the sabbatical, she communes with Korra and asks why the other avatars don't answer the glowy phone. Now, it's not like Korra is bad or anything, it's just that sometimes her advice can be, you know, kinda shite. After a bit of hesitation, Korra ashamedly recounts the naughty spanking she received from Vaatu those many, many moons ago. And by hearing that, Marie is struck with a slightly shite idea of her own. If, and follow her on this, she can declare a rematch on Vaatu. Maybe she can pull the old Uno reversal card on his ass, clap them cheeks back, and then reconnect the avatar cycle, thus allowing Marie access to avatars who aren't total fuckwits. Now, despite both being avatars, Marie and Korra don't have two spiritual brain cells between them to rub together. So, the former decides to ask her sock-headed boy toy if his fat brain can concoct a caper to pull all of this nonsense off. Well, the thing is, that is not really Fredward's forte. But I think we all know whose forte that is. And so with the touching power of friendship, the team convinces Freddy to shower them with his throbbing scabby mojo, and he hatches a plot. Vaatu can only be freed from the Tree of Time once every 10,000 years during the harmonic convergence. Since the last convergence was so recent, Freddy deduces that they need to trick Vaatu into thinking that another 10 millennia have passed, and the harmonic convergence is happening again. So the crew skidoos into the nearest open portal, and Freddy works his weaselly magic. And how does he do it? Oh, hell, dude, I don't know. He probably, like, I don't know, shines a spotlight on the tree and has the Beifong sisters dress up as old ladies and do a whole bit like, "Oh, dearie me, it's been 10,000 years since my last pudding pop. Oh, how will I sell my soul to an evil spirit and allow them to take over the material world for a pudding pop?" Miraculously, or retardedly, depending on your point of view, Vaatu falls for the ruse and breaks free from the Tree of Time. Team Avatar prepares to open a can of teen angst whoop-ass on old Vaatu, but he doesn't engage.
Yes, well, I would fight you, dumbasses, but, the exit is right over there. So, smell you later.
Oh, whoop.
Oh dear!
Vaatu rampages across the material plane like the giant geriatric disgruntled magic kites that he is, with Team Avatar desperately trying to stop him. Unable to get a handle on his glowing ass, Korra butts in and states that she knows exactly how to handle the situation. Marie, not at all keen on following another salvo of shitty advice, turns her down, but Korra insists that of all things she has done wrong, she knows that in this one instance, she is right. Fighting her nagging doubt, Marie obliges and Korra takes command, breaking out her sweet spirit-bending moves. And by God, it works. Binding Vaatu down enough to neutralize him, the others clap them evil cheeks from here to the moon and back, each lash of their vengeance bringing back a previous avatar life. You know, because that's how it works, apparently. Hilariously, being freed from Vaatu's spirit prison and seeing a chance to get some sweet vengeance themselves, all the previous avatars join in on the shit stomping, leaving Vaatu as nothing more than a brown, shriveled bottled condom of his former self. With the deed done, Vaatu was once again sealed away, and for the first time, Marie gets the chance to converse with all of her previous lives. They express their praise and gratitude. Korra, of course, congratulates her on fixing her oopsie of the past and apologizes for being a right shite guide. But Marie hugs her. She was, after all, a big help in the end. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the Avatar cycle is once again fully restored. The world is once again at peace, and the Avatar once again gets to score.
Thank God.
And there we have it, people. My little foray into the wonderful, mindless self-indulgence that is fanfiction. Is the story any good? Well, I don't know. That's not really for me to decide. That's for you to decide. But that is not the point here. You see, the point of fanfiction is that regardless of what you and I create, it is an excellent way to hone your craft. It's exercise. And exercise is good for you. And who knows? Maybe one day your weird fanfiction might be able to be turned into a wildly successful original IP. But in the meantime, I hope my little Avatar story entertained you. And speaking of entertaining stories you may want to see, I did actually create an entirely animated story of my first BJJ fight that you can watch here. And with all that said, I thank you for spending this time with me. I do hope you all stick around. And until next time, deuces.